Punk's comic from $1,500 to $35,000 in only 2 months. You're probably wondering how. Well, it's with the Punk's comic NFT. In this video, we'll go over how it went from $1,500 to now up to $35,000 in less than 60 days. And also, let's do an update on burning and staking with the comic NFT. Tap that thumbs up and let's send it. What is up, Money Tribe? Mike Damazo here to help you make sense of NFTs as your no-shill resource. For this video, we'll have to rewind first. So remember this video?
And the mysterious Elvis Punksley on his quest for enigmatic relics of crypto art history. Watch the story unfold as Beanie and the 15 punks hunt for the lost Robbies.
The price of ETH at the time was around 3,600 and mint cost for Punk's comic was 0.2 ETH. To keep it simple, the numbers I spent was a total of 1,500 for 2 copies of a digital comic book. But if you saw my first video, you know why I chose to make that investment. Actually, let me stop for a second. As a reminder, these investments are definitely speculative and you should still have some 401k or even index funds just to play it safe as a safe bet. This is more of a fun money, money that you are okay if you lose. And definitely none of this is investment advice. But we're not here to talk about boring index funds and 401k. You came here because you want to know how and why that $1,500 became $35,000 in less than 60 days. First, let me catch you up. See, at the time of minting, it didn't sell out as fast as most NFT avatar projects are going because this wasn't an NFT avatar project. Punk's comic has a long-term vision, not just for Pixel Vault, but for the holders and true believers out there. They're going after Marvel, and Beanie, the founder, is going fast. Now, at its initial drop, gas was high. Gas was, for those that don't know, is the transaction fee for Ethereum. So as gas did go down, more people minted their first issue of Punk's comic. Then on, I want to say it was Kevin Rose's podcast, Modern Finance, his guest, DC Investor, mentioned Punk's comic. So I want to say there was a trend in Twitter where it showed like Kevin Rose buying up the floor. I'll definitely link that episode below. And you could say that at that episode, more people jumped in. Now, where do we go from 0.2 ETH to now a floor price of 3 ETH? Well, let's discuss floor, then the overall value of what it means when you own a Punk's comic. So all 10,000 comics were minted. None of it were burned, and his 10K drop wasn't an avatar project, as I've mentioned. I know, there's a ton, basically Noah's Ark out there. See, when a project sells out, that means no one else can buy at that 0.2 ETH price because it's sold out. On the secondary market, which for this one, it's OpenSea. OpenSea is basically the eBay of NFTs. OpenSea has had prices above 0.2 ETH. Sure, people sold at 0.3, but as mentioned earlier, remember that podcast, Modern Finance, well, Kevin Rose, as I've said, bought out the floor. The floor meaning whatever the lowest price was, and then it pushes that floor to a different level. So I can't even remember if it was like 0.3 or 0.6. Anyways, at that point, you just have to fast forward to now. And if you look at OpenSea, you will see a floor price of 3 ETH for the Punk's comic. So, all right, we had 2 issues of the Punk's comic, adding to only 6 ETH, which at the time of this recording is only $19,000. So where does that $16,000 come from? Okay, now we're closing in on the option to either burn or stake your Punk's comic. Before they closed that opportunity, they had another announcement for Punk's comic holders, which was the Meta Hero Universe. This was a project by Pixel Vault and is inspired by Punk's comic. If you had the Punk's comic, you were able to claim your mint pass at 0.08 ETH. Now, after you claim it, you know, only those people that claim it can sell it or hold on it. If you check the floor price for that on the secondary market, it is at 2.5 ETH. As mentioned, we have 2 comics right now, so that's a total of 5 ETH or $16,000 at this time. So that's how my initial 0.4 ETH investment is now worth 11 ETH. You know what the total is because you would have to check what 11 ETH or 1 ETH is at this time because it changes. Now, the important question is, do we stake or burn? You know, I would definitely play like the final countdown, but I don't want YouTube to strike me. So, you know, it's the final countdown with only less than 24 hours left to burn. So you know the plan from the first video. The reason I purchased 2 Punks comic was to burn one and stake one. For the longest in Twitter, the discussion was, do I stake or do I burn? And you could even see it in the debate in the Discord group. Stake or burn? There's stake or burn. I can't make up my mind. Well, I did. I'm gonna stick with what I said. But before that, let me do a quick summary. When you burn issue number 1, it represents proportional ownership of the founder's DAO. The DAO holds different digital assets valued at 600 ETH according to their website. But as per Fractional.Art, the reserve price for Punk's Vault is 50,000 ETH. So Punk's Vault it's a different video that I gotta do for Fractional.Art. So when you burn, you get 50% of the Punk's token. It represents fractional ownership of 16 CryptoPunks in the comic according to their website. However, out of that 100 million tokens, half of it will be distributed to those staking their Punks comic NFT over a 24-month period. I realize that I'm definitely talking a lot with my hands and I tend to use the left hand. Anyways, so I guess I should probably do a follow-up video in 2023, you know, 24 months after. So I guess we're back to that question. Do I stake or do I burn? An interesting Twitter user that did a great write-up on this was Economist. He originally projected a final breakdown of 28% staking and 72% burning. And at the time of this recording, about 54% have been burned. His Medium articles will definitely be in the descriptions below if you want to check it out, and also his Twitter link if you want to give him a follow. Personally, for me, I'll keep you in the loop with how this project continues to develop. There are constantly new updates, not just with this one, there's also Bored Ape Yacht Club. So the question is, should we stake or should we burn? I'll definitely let you know in the next video on what I did. So I want to know, what do you think of Punk's comic? Did you mint when I first mentioned it here? Did you buy it on OpenSea? What do you know about it? Do you have any questions? Let me know. Lastly, tap that thumbs up for this video because it definitely costs you 0 ETH to hit that like button. Sound off in the comments below. If you have any questions about Punk's comic, Pixel Volt, or anything else, don't forget to subscribe to get the latest on news, trends, and breakdown about NFTs. For my next video, I definitely want to do a Bored Ape Yacht Club update. And also, by the way, you could get up to $250 worth of free Bitcoin from BlockFi by checking out my link below. Stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next video.